Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So in this one here, I sort of wanted to recap a lot of what happened last night and get into some comments here that I think a lot of people missed. I did a video last night talking about The Ones Who Live Season 2, or at least Gimple, teasing that it was very much a possibility, right? Like teasing that anything is possible is exactly what he said, but there's actually a lot more to the quote to what he said. So I want to get into that, and I also want to talk about Andrew Lincoln's reaction to that, and I guess mostly focus on what he teased, because he actually teased a pretty big scene that apparently will be happening in the first couple of minutes of the whole entire series here. So I want to get into that and then also talk about some stuff with Michonne. So this is going to be a pretty big video talking about everything that we learned yesterday. And again, just as a reminder, a lot of stuff happening today. First of all, Rick Grimes and Michonne should be available today in Warzone, I believe. There's going to be a big update that's going to happen at any point. It's probably going to be already live at the time of this video coming out. I will be streaming on Twitch as well, so if you want to watch me playing Warzone on Twitch, then definitely go follow me on Twitch. I'll be playing as Rick and Michonne. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then tonight is the red carpet for The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live. It's the premiere for the show, and yeah, just expect more information to be coming out. Right now, they're just promoting it a lot, and like I said, it's a very exciting time right now. We're 18 days away until this show premieres, and yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun here. So before we go any further, obviously make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. Now, the first thing that I do want to start off with is what Andrew Lincoln was actually talking about in terms of his character and what is likely going to be happening to his character. Because that's the one thing about coming back to the show, is that you are going to do things a little bit differently, or you're going to look at the character and be like, can we do things just in general differently than, what the character has experienced before, just to make it more exciting. And I feel like just for Andrew Lincoln to be like, yeah, I'm very excited about playing this character again. You don't want to play the same character for forever. Like, you want the character to change. And for Andrew Lincoln, having Rick Grimes in this scenario, experiencing the crazy stuff that's going to be happening is very exciting, especially I think you add the high budget and what the story is going to be like and all that. It's a totally different experience, I think, for himself, and I think for Rick Grimes in general, just to be in this situation here. Now, I'm getting this here in an article by TV Guide, so I'll leave a link down below if you want to check out the whole article, because there's a bunch of stuff here. But in this article actually teases something that, well, Andrew Lincoln actually teases it in his interview yesterday, but it's very, very interesting, and I feel like I know exactly what this is. Now, again, I guess I should say that this could contain spoilers, because if this is true, and I mean, Andrew Lincoln is hinting at it, so it seems like it is likely going to happen, but obviously we have to watch it to see. But this could potentially be very spoilery here, so if you want to go into the show not knowing anything, then I would definitely just not go any further. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys that warning. But according to TV Guide here, there's actually a paragraph before this that I'm not even going to read because it kind of spoils it. But just in this part here, they're quoting what Andrew Lincoln actually says about the opening minutes of the Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live. TV Guide's quote here says, "We won't spoil it here, but Lincoln did allude to it during the panel. In the first 3 or 4 minutes of a whole series, there is something truly horrific that happens," he said. He compared it to the shocking and horrifying opening minutes of The Walking Dead's pilot, where in then it just kind of goes into, how the opening minutes happen there. And so for me, when I read that, I was like, okay, so Rick is losing his hand in the first couple of minutes of this episode. I kind of predicted that anyways. I didn't think it was going to happen in the opening minutes. There was no way I thought it would happen in the opening minutes. I kept thinking that thought did come to my head, but immediately I was like, that's way too soon. I just feel like that'd be so insane, but maybe. I thought it made way more sense for the first episode to end in that way, for him to lose his hand in that way. But it seems like Rick is going to try and escape the CRM, and it looks like, when he tries to escape, just one of the times he tries to escape, he actually loses his hand. So it kind of seems like, to me anyways, I don't think it's going to be zombie related. I really feel like it's going to be something that either Major General Beale does or another CRM soldier does. I think it's going to be something like that. It's going to be something really insane that really shows and proves to us that Rick is trapped in this place. Because that's the thing, right? That's the big thing that we're all going to be wondering. Why isn't Rick leaving? A lot of us kind of know that, but for the general audience viewer, right, of this show that's just sort of watching this show, because a lot of people haven't watched The Walking Dead in many, many years. A lot of people stopped watching when Rick left. Right now that Rick's back, people are starting to watch again. And so it's going to be different. People aren't going to understand why he can't just leave. And so seeing this here, seeing that he's trying to leave, and then we see what happens to him by him losing his hand because he tries to escape, that right there is going to be okay, yeah, this show isn't messing around. This is real. he cannot leave this place. This is a really terrifying place. Like the CRM, it's a really scary place to be in, and that's what Rick is dealing with here. So when Andrew Lincoln teased this, I was like, whoa, this has me so hyped for this first episode. I'm honestly, I can't wait to watch this now. Like, the first couple of minutes are going to be absolutely just like mind-blowing to watch. Like, if this is what's going to happen, I don't even know how I'm going to feel for the rest of the episode. Like, I'm just going to feel so just like shocked and just like, I don't know, like I'm just going to feel so off watching this first episode because it's going to start in just such a crazy way. And then just to think about what's going to happen throughout the rest of it. You know, I've been seeing some reactions to the first 3 episodes, and generally what people are saying is that the first 3 episodes really seem to be a first part to this whole entire thing here, and it really sets up everything. Like, this is sort of like a setup for everything. So I think that's why it makes a lot of sense that the screeners that AMC sent out were for the first 3 episodes, because yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense, right? Like, you're going to send out just what makes sense for the story, so people can sort of get an idea of what the story is going to be like. And I feel like for Daryl Dixon and for Dead City, the reason why they sent out all 6 episodes is because they were starting something new after The Walking Dead ended, right? And so I think they wanted to give people, you know, just watch the whole series, you can binge it, and this is what you can expect from the show, you know? And I think with that show, if you would have gave them the first 3 episodes, it doesn't really tell the whole thing, right? So yeah, I'm really excited. I do think the first 3 episodes are really going to focus on Rick and Michonne being separated and just how they come together. And then episode 4, 5, and 6, we'll see them, I guess, probably escape. And then there'll be a bunch of stuff happening. And I do think there's likely going to be a setup for season 2, but we'll get into that in a second here. What I actually really wanted to get into as well was something that Denai Guerrero was actually saying about Michonne's character here. And this is something that I feel like is very, very important to talk about, because Michonne, like, if you remember in season 9 and 10, she was very closed off from everybody. And now she is starting to open up again. And again, they're not talking about their characters too much. And Denai Guerrero really didn't get into it too much. Like, I really think they are holding back a lot. Like, they want you to watch this and experience everything for the first time kind of thing. And but she did say that, you know, Michonne, you know, she was very closed off, and now she's going to be opening up a lot. And I like that. You know, like, at first, we're probably going to see her very closed off, but there's probably going to be that hope there where she's really trying to find him. Because, like, first of all, I don't think she's going to be as closed off as she was in season 9 and 10, because now she has some hope, right? Before, she had no hope. She thought Rick was dead. So now she has some hope that he could be out there. I would really like it if there were moments, say in episode 1, or you'd probably have to do it at 1, or maybe early on in 2, where it seems like Rick might actually be dead. Just because, like, you want to build up the tension there, right? Where maybe you're very close to finding him, and then all of a sudden it's just like, no, actually, he's probably gone. It looks like he might have died here, or else something just, you know, where it seems very hopeless kind of thing. Like, I would like that, because you're just you're building up that tension, you know, and just that build for when she does actually find him, and she sees him for the first time in, like, 10 years or something like that. So it's going to be really interesting to see Michonne's story. And I really want to, like, as soon as that happens, I do want to do a video talking about Michonne's story from, you know, just what her journey was like from that moment, going back to when she lost Rick. Because, like, you know, after she lost Rick, like, there was a lot of stuff that happened. Like, her and Maggie don't really talk. Like, the last time her and Maggie talked, like, Maggie was basically, they both, like, stopped talking because of the whole Negan drama, right? And everything happening just with Hilltop and all of that. So they just stopped communicating just kind of in general. And then Maggie left, right? And so Michonne and Maggie, they haven't talked in a very, very long time. And so by the time, you know, it was Michonne's final episode, I know that a lot of things were getting fixed, but it still wasn't fully there, because Michonne was just so focused on, you know, what happened with Rick, and she didn't get that closure. And so it's just going to be an interesting journey to see what happened with Michonne overall, getting to the point of where she is right now when she actually does find him, how happy she's going to be. And then just whenever she reunites with, like, Maggie, Daryl, you know, Carol, and that, just like that reaction there. And speaking of, you know, all that talk of all of them reuniting, I actually wanted to get into the full quote here. So first of all, there's actually 2 articles here that I do want to read, because there's two parts to it. So the first one here is from Deadline, and Deadline actually, this is the general quote. So yesterday, what I was reading was just sort of, you know, what he said in terms of anything is possible or whatever. The quote here continues, and again, I'll leave a link down below to the articles here. This one's from from Deadline, and then the next one is from TV Line. But this first one here from Deadline says, anything is possible even if Rick dies in the last episode. Anything is possible. We're focused on this one right now, but this one came together in a really amazing way, where there were all sorts of plans, and then the world changed and we altered those plans. And then the article continues on saying something about Andrew Lincoln then joked about, you know, what if Rick died in the last episode or whatever of The Ones Who Live. And then, yeah, so like to me, when you're just taking that right there, like just that one part there, like first of all, this was supposed to be a limited series. Like with World Beyond, it was very clear when they talked about a season 2 or a season 3 or whatever, it was like, no, this is 2 seasons. That is it. It was very, very clear. The fact that this is not clear says a lot. The fact that Andrew Lincoln is joking about Rick dying in the last episode here, I feel like teases so much. Like that is right there to me is like, okay, so you're laughing about the fact that, oh, maybe he dies here because you're kind of teasing a season 2 right there, right? Like, yeah, imagine there's a season 2, but Rick dies in the last episode. Like you're making jokes about it. So to me, I think there's going to be a season 2, but there's this other quote here that I found very, very interesting. And this is sort of connected with everything here in terms of all the reuniting of all the characters and why I think Gimple is planning all of this and the stuff that we've been talking about for the last however many years now, or since The Walking Dead ended, or I guess before that, really is the direction that he wants to take this in, but it's just sort of like one step at a time. So according to TV Line here, Gimple says, I didn't know if I'd be able to tell that story. And by the way, this is a reference to something that he was setting up in terms of, I guess a Rick and Michonne spinoff that he was trying to set up back in season 3. But anyways, I didn't know if I'd be able to tell that story, Gimple shared. And you do have to be flexible. You have to have this garden of forking paths and pivot when needed. So when it comes to something like an Avengers Endgame style all-series crossover event, yeah, I do have dreams of merging this all together. And I have laid little breadcrumbs toward that, but you never know exactly when and how it will come together because of a variety of reasons. Dead City is a vibrant show. Daryl Dixon is a vibrant show. This one, The Ones Who Live, is, Gimple noted, I will just say that I'm building those pathways, but there could be all sorts of pivots along the way that change it. So I guess answer is yes. And so when I see that, I'm just like, okay, so they are planning for a season 2. They are planning for this like big, huge, like Avengers Endgame style sort of crossover event, right? Where you have everyone all come together. It's the CRM versus, I don't know if it's the Commonwealth or if it's like Madame Janae's group or what it's eventually going to be. But there seems to be an Endgame here planned. And Gimple is moving everything towards that. He's placing little, things here and there. And I think we're going to slowly get there. And again, the reason why this is such big news is because we finally have confirmation of this. Like, this is something that there's been talk about here and there, but a lot of us have just talked about it because of just little teasers or Easter eggs or whatever that we would get in the show. But nothing was really ever confirmed about, like, well, are we going to get a season 2? Are we ever going to get Rick and Daryl reuniting? Will the shows eventually all come together into like one big show? Or like, how is all of it playing out? Like, we just never had that, confirmation of that. We just sort of assumed because it kind of seemed like it just based off of, again, the story from all the spinoffs and all of that. But with Gimple talking about this now, this is just, it's amazing to hear. It really is amazing to hear. Just on top of everything with, Andrew Lincoln, sort of, talking about his character and Denai Guerrera talking about how Michonne is starting to open up a lot more. She's not going to be so closed off like she was in season 9 and 10. And so just kind of seeing the characters grow and go in different directions and just how exciting that's going to be to have everybody reunite. And like, man, I can't wait to see what everything is going to look like at some point when it's all over. When you have like that final episode or that final season when everyone is together, Rick, Daryl, Michonne and Carol, Maggie and Negan, when they're all reunited. I know I keep throwing Negan in there, and technically, like, I shouldn't be because he's kind of the villain, but I don't know, he's a part of the group now, so it would be interesting to see like what Rick's reaction would be to him being out. And just like what has happened. And again, there's just all of these parts of the story that I'm just like, I'm so excited to see. And it seems like we're actually going to be going there. But again, things are going to change here and there. And he has an overall plan of going there. But it's just, we'll have to see what happens. And so as of now, it seems like Dead City and Daryl Dixon are probably going to get a season 2 and a 3 and a 4 and probably a 5. The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, is most likely getting a season 2. I would say it's most likely going to get a season 3. But it's just, I think it's more debatable now on whether or not the season 3 is going to be the last season and if that's going to be out in like 5 or 6 years, and if that's going to be the season where everyone reunites, and that's the big Avengers Endgame season, right? Or maybe The Ones Who Live is only 2 seasons, and then after Dead City and Daryl Dixon ends, that they all come back for like one big show. I think all of that, we don't really know. So as of now, I think, yeah, The Ones Who Live, it's going to get another season. Dead City and Daryl Dixon, they're obviously going to get multiple seasons, and we'll just kind of see where we go from here. But the next couple of years of The Walking Dead looks to be very, very exciting, and this show, I think, is better than ever right now. So anyways, I'm going to leave it here. I'm definitely very excited for later on today. I really can't wait to see just everything from the big red carpet event. So yeah, post all your thoughts down below. Make sure to be a subscriber if you want to get all my Walking Dead content like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.